Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of The Reasonable Contractor. I am your host, Ryan Templin, the Reasonable Tech Dad, and I am here with a new friend today. This is Pete from Twin Cities Electric out of Shakopee. And from what I see on the website, Pete's a family man, 3 kids, very much a mission about helping people, and that's my kind of vibe. Lots of homeowners helped, lots of panels replaced, but I think he's probably the better guy to describe it. So, Pete, thanks for coming on, man. Why don't you tell us your story? How'd you get started?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, it's kind of a roller coaster, if you will. I first gained my interest into the skilled trade of the electrician world as a young 17-year-old kid. There was a vocational school available for juniors and seniors with many programs, and so I had to decide what program I wanted, and it came down to auto mechanic and electrical, because I knew I liked to work with my hands. I have a mechanical mind. I like to be challenged. So with the guidance from my father and my uncle, who was a mechanic, my uncle,
Nice.
they kind of steered me toward the trades, which I'm glad they did. I ended up liking the program very much. Graduated out of that with a certificate, and then, uh, then after high school, I, you know, I didn't. What's up, honey?
It is scary.
I know. We'll change it. Yep. I am solo parenting right now, so we are
I get it, buddy. We love
trying
that
to
kind
find
of stuff
something to
here.
watch.
Yeah, the Tech
Uh,
Dad brand, that suits the show. Don't worry about it for a second.
that's it. That's it. Multitasking. So it came down, like, I was ready to be done with school. I wanted to hit the ground running, so to speak. I wanted to start working, making money, gain independence. College wasn't really my direction in life. Basically, what it came down to for me was either enlisting in the Marine Corps. That was going to be my only option. But given the fact that I went to that vocational school, I was like, well, let me take my shot out in the real world, see if maybe I can get under the wing of a electrical contractor. And if not, plan B, enlist. So, I struggled for about a year, but eventually, I got into an apprenticeship. It was July 15th of 2005. Never
Okay.
forgot the day. It was very impactful for me. I remember, getting my application, and I actually drove an hour to submit my application on the last day they were taking them. And when I got to the shop after work, the owner was leaving. So here's this crazy guy running with a paper. Hey, wait, submitting it. And then I called him like every week about the position. So that's what landed me that position, was that eagerness and drive. And
Absolutely.
then I just was a loyal employee. I mean, they gave me a shot. They took me under their wing. They put me into a 5-year apprenticeship. Probably a little bit more unorthodox than Minnesota's. I'm not from Minnesota
Okay.
originally. I was born and raised in Pennsylvania, bit of a
Interesting.
transient. And then after high school, migrated to New York State, Binghamton area, Binghamton, New York. And that was where I got that apprenticeship position, because I knew there was going to be nothing for me in the country. There's just, you just have factory jobs. That's about it. So, and that I had, obviously I had more plans for my life and bigger aspirations. And so, but they took me under their wing. It took about a year and a half after high school to get in somewhere. I did have some doors of opportunity open that I unfortunately had to close because of circumstances.
Such is life.
But stuck with them 5 years. Went through their apprenticeship program, which was a state registered, state approved apprentice program, kind of like what Minnesota has, in the sense that, like, through the Minnesota Electricians Association or the Electricians Association, you can go to class. I think it runs along with the school year. I think it's like from September, but it wraps up a little bit earlier. I want to say like right around April or May
It's
is when
exactly right.
class.
I was in a
But
Minnesota Tech electrical program. I did that at Anoka Tech from
oh,
07 to 09.
okay.
That
Yep.
exact thing you're talking about. And I think it used to be the Board of Electrical. Now it's all under the Department of Labor and Union, or Labor and Industry, maybe.
Yep. It's all approved. I think the classes here are more virtual, like what we're doing.
Okay.
Whereas what I went through, it was more of a live element, like you had to show up.
Same.
Um, yeah. So you know,
Yep. Had to do the
but it was,
labs, had to wire.
yeah, I feel like it was manageable. Being that it was one night a week, so it allowed you to work. You're literally getting paid to learn while working. So I think it was a win-win. Granted, like working out of town, sometimes it was difficult making it to class. But I did that for 5 years. Basically, the fifth year was just more of a prep to get you ready for your journeyman's test. But graduated out of that program, was a journeyman electrician for a few years. And then I had a bit of a health crisis, if you will. Something was going on, wasn't sure. Company laid me off, basically was like, figure it out. I was
Scary.
trying at the time, but yeah, just getting a runaround from the doctors. I mean, I learned a lot, like, especially with the medical field, like you have to be your own advocate.
Agreed.
I think there's some doctors that just, can't admit they don't know. I think there's a lot of ego and pride there.
Would agree 100%.
Yeah. So, I mean, it took a while, but eventually, I had to relocate to the state of Maine. That's where my mom's side of the family all live. And so, I found a great doctor, looked me in the eyes, was like, we're going to figure this out, Pete, which was great to actually have somebody to listen for once.
I bet that felt amazing.
It did. It did. It felt like, at the time, like nobody would believe you, that like you were just crazy. Like there was nothing wrong with you, but you knew there was something wrong. Like you
Yes.
felt. And so lo and behold, ended up getting diagnosed by a rheumatologist with ankylosing spondylitis, or AS for short. And at the time, like I had lost a lot of weight. I was 148 pounds, and if it wasn't for my brother and my grandmother, I probably would have been homeless, basically. Um, so a bit of a soul searching thing going on there. Eventually figured life out, got diagnosed, started medicating on Humira, gained my weight back. The pain pretty much went away. Doesn't cure it. It just slows the progression of what I have down.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like arthritis on steroids. It causes inflammation all over, and it's just some bad stuff. But you know, it gave me my life back, which I'm grateful for.
No doubt.
And I basically did some soul searching. Eventually, I met my wife. She's from Minnesota, so that's how I ended up here.
And that's how you ended up here. That's a common story.
Yeah.
Meet a Minnesota lady. That's how you land here.
It's such a common thing.
It's funny
isn't
how
it?
they have that power.
Yes, always. It's a great state. I really love it here.
It really is.
Yeah, we were able to adjust and everything coming out. I ended up going to college for electrical engineering for a little while, and then I ended up getting like almost finished, but then I decided I didn't really like it. I'm not really a desk guy, if you will. I like to move around. And so I went back into the electrical field, got my journeyman's again in the state of Maine. Worked for a guy, worked for a guy for a little while, and I just felt like the culture at that company was not really great. It just felt really toxic. And so, I ended up, I guess it was kind of the straw that broke my back, because I mean, for me to start my own business, that always felt like a pipe dream, especially as an apprentice. Like you think about it, but you're just like, you know, maybe I'm not cut out, you know, all the head trash and whatnot. And,
I've had guys on this show say the same thing about how when they were working as a tradesman, doing their own business was never on their radar, or it seemed overwhelming. They didn't want the headaches. So that's interesting. What made you make the jump? Just the lack of culture, like desperation, maybe?
I think so. It was just working for a gentleman who was the same age as me, and he micromanaged everything. And I felt like everybody that was there was just miserable. And so I came to this, I don't know, just this crossroad where I was like, well, I can continue working for a company where everybody's miserable. It just sucks the positivity out of you. It's toxic. Or I can start my own business. Maybe I fail, but maybe I succeed.
Absolutely.
And
that's the unknown with any step like that.
So you got to go watch TV.
Sidekick.
So that, oh yeah, always. So then, Obviously, I mean, I definitely have to give a lot of credit to my wife too. She gave me a lot of that. She instilled a lot of that confidence too,
Love that.
in me to kind of give me that push I needed to do it. So got my master's for the state of Maine, started my company there for a little while, wanted to get a feel for it, make sure I liked it. I liked it. And then we moved out here, started all over again, had to get the Maine or the Minnesota master's license. Test was a doozy.
I was waiting to ask that exact question because when
man.
when I worked in the field for years after I got my tech degree, I ended up doing some traveling with doing some electrical work. And I had heard when I was out in Idaho that the Midwest, but Minnesota in particular, like if you get a journeyman license or a master's in Minnesota, you can pretty much go anywhere and it's no problem. Yeah, we'll certify you, but it's not the case coming. So I was curious when you did your licensing on the East Coast, if you had to recertify here.
I just I had to sit for the test,
Okay.
but they accepted all my credit hour, my on the job training hours,
Sure.
all my schooling, everything. Cause I that was the first thing I did before I moved out here, as I wanted to make sure it was all, approved first. And so I sent Dolly, or the Department of Labor and Industry, everything they required, and they approved it. And then I was able to sit for my master's.
Sweet. And
Yeah,
then,
my fingers were crossed on that one. I was just so grateful. I was like, oh man, if I had to start all over again, I would have been so mad, but thank God it worked out.
yeah, I lost 3 years as an apprentice where I thought I was getting my master hours. There was supposed to be I went to an industrial route out of school. I went and worked at a cheese facility here in Lesueur, Minnesota, and they said that they had a master at working at the Cambria shop down there. And come time to start getting my test stuff ready, they're like, yeah, that master's not here. SOL on the hours. It was pretty bad.
Really? So like the hours that are like obviously you had pay stubs,
yeah,
with hours on them.
I was not on top of it enough. I was at like 2.5 years and I was young and I was just I was pretty mad about it. And I was in my mid-20s and you know that mid-20s thing. I was never smarter than I was at that age. All you had to do was ask me. I had the answer to everything. And I kind of turned my back on it. And I was like, cool, fine, I'm out. And I went and tried some entrepreneurial suits or some paths that way, but that's a story for another time. So then when you came back to Minnesota, how did you end up with Twin Cities Electric? Was that right away after you got your master's?
So, yeah, so I started the company. It came down to 3 business names, 2 of which were taken. This was the only one available, and I just stuck with it because I felt like it, obviously the name was really good. I couldn't even believe it was available. There is a backstory to all that. But I decided to take it on and basically rebuild the brand, if you will.
Okay.
Chose a great time to start, as you can probably already fathom. So I eventually started, I want to say it was right around like October-ish, November of 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then 2020 on the way. COVID on the way.
Yeah. Just 2 weeks to slow the spread, man. 2 weeks. And then we ended up in, crisis for years to come. And I just remember everyone calling me and they're like, I got to cancel my appointment. Nobody wanted me in their house. And I was like, wow, I really chose a great time to start a company.
Intense, dude. How'd you navigate that?
Well, I just kind of came to this conclusion, like, obviously I'm a man of faith. I believe in Christ, and I prayed a lot. And I just put it on him, and I was like, Lord, if I can get through this, I can get through anything. But obviously, if this is not your will for me, then so be it. I have to accept that. We'll figure it out.
Yes.
I feel like that's a lot of things in life. You just got to figure it out. You adapt and overcome.
Yes. And one foot in front of the other. You can just handle what's in your face right now.
That's it. So, through a lot of prayers of that guy right there.
Amen to that, sir.
Yes. I got through it slowly. I think it helped also the fact that, starting out, obviously my overhead was like low. So that helped a lot. I didn't have any employees I was responsible for. Plus I was just kind of navigating how to run a business because no one ever taught me how to do that. So,
sure.
lot of book reading, lot of networking with other fellows throughout. That's what I love about the internet, because it really helped me grow my business, just the networking itself alone.
Yes.
Through some of the Facebook groups that are out there, like Rebs, is one of them. So shout out to that group. They are just, it's just basically a collaboration of electrical contractors. And yeah, you got some guys in there that, whatever, not very helpful, but I feel like a majority of that community is pretty helpful. And we're just all there to help each other out and help each other grow, which I love. And that's what really helped me grow my business. So, figured out a lot of things, obviously made some mistakes along the way, and then ended up doing like a rebrand. I want to say like back in 2024, changed the look, kept the name, but like changed the look and everything.
Is that to the green, kind of the green and black with is that a
Yeah.
Labrador dog? That logo's sick, dude. I like it a lot.
Yeah, the dog is actually my golden retriever, Bruno.
It's Bruno. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it just seemed to make sense because obviously we're dog people, and my wife and I, and like he's just such a good, awesome, amazing dog. And
That's family, man.
yeah, and so like it just made sense because like we're a service-based company, mainly working residential. We do some commercial, but mostly residential. We're in a lot of homes. And so it's like, it just made sense for me to have him as the mascot, because when I think of a golden retriever, like I just think of family and friendly, and who doesn't like a golden retriever? I mean, most people do, and goldens just love people.
Yes.
And so I just wanted people to kind of make that connection with us and who we are, because we work with families. We're friendly. We want to be your go-to electrician. That was kind of the parallel I wanted people to draw there.
I think you drew it up well.
So, and people have I've got nothing but positive feedback on it. The artist I was working with I think he was out of like North Carolina, Fortitude Creative.
Okay.
Shout out to Jason there.
Hey, Jason, nice work.
Yeah, he did. He's a great artist. And, he kind of wanted to go the Norse way. I get it, with Vikings and the Scandinavian culture and all that here. And I was like, well, I feel like it's a little too aggressive. It's a little too aggressive.
Not
What
fitting
about
the family vibe, sure.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of men would like it, but we do work with women too, and so.
But the lady makes a lot of those house decisions when it comes to home service.
Yep, literally. Like, you look at my phone, my wife's name is in there, and it's in between the first and last name, it says the boss.
Yep, so that's a very common label for it
is. That's the reality. So.
Absolutely, and it makes the family work that way.
Yeah. So just trying to steadily grow it. Again, I've learned a lot. I think for me, the hardest thing is trying to grow beyond myself and an apprentice. That's been the challenge. So I'm thinking about maybe looking into getting some more coaching to help me kind of grow there, because I feel like I've kind of hit a
little bit of plateau. Yeah, for sure. Do you have Is it just you, or do you have guys?
Well, I have I had an employee. I'm going to be hiring another apprentice here shortly. I think the thing is, like, I don't mind giving people a shot, because everybody's got to start somewhere. I was that guy. Like, I didn't have any formal education. I didn't have any experience. And when I tried getting into this trade, like, literally every door was slammed in my face because I had no experience.
So you've been there. You've been in that tough spot.
Yeah. You just got to persevere and not give up and just keep on keeping on. So
well said.
I gave guys a shot. I had, two of them were Dunwoody grads. The last one was a, gentleman who obviously didn't have any experience, but he, at the time really thought this is what he wanted to do as a career. And I believed him. And so, you put a lot of training into somebody, a lot of time, effort, energy. You send them to school, and then one day just decided, it's not for me. And so it kind of stunk, like, and I'm not the only employer that deals with this. Like, of course, everybody has. But it just stinks, because it's like you put all that time into someone, and then just one day they're just like, oh, I'm out, and it's like, well, now I'm back to square one again. So,
Yeah. So how are you
uh,
thinking? Are you thinking about that hiring process differently now? Are you thinking more along finding someone with experience, or you want to stay the route of giving somebody a shot? What have you taken away from that challenge and how you're going to move forward?
I, you know, I have kind of leaned toward, the qualification route of having the schooling under your belt at least, because then it's like, well, they got a little skin into the game. They paid for the 2-year associate degree in electrical construction, whether it's from Anoka, Dakota, or Dunwoody.
Yep.
So, I feel like that's probably more promising in terms of, where that person's going to end up and what their aspirations are as far as this field goes versus someone who's just kind of like a butterfly and they're just like, well, maybe, and they have
Yeah.
no investment. You know
Yep.
what I mean? I'm sure
I
there's
do.
great, uh, know what they want and got that direction. But I feel like at 18, 19, it's like you're going to go through so many changes mentally that
It's hard to lock in
it's,
a direction at that age for sure.
yeah, yeah.
So that's a little bit on the challenges side of things as far as hiring. What do you think makes you win the bids when you go in the door and you're bidding against the other guys? Because I mean, everybody does at least 3 is usually the rule of thumb. What makes Pete and Twin Cities Electric stand out? You think what's their strengths?
I think ultimately what it comes down to is, I think what I've tried to showcase, and that's basically transparency throughout, like my website, my reviews, my social media, is who I am, right? And so I think people like that. They really like that. They can kind of get to know me a little bit through that exposure prior to even me walking into the door.
I did that before this episode. I feel like you've got it painted pretty well, dude.
Thank you. I think that's important, right? You want to establish something out the gate just to build a little bit of incremental trust, even if it's just a little bit, and it helps kind of break the ice. And, but I think also the fact that for right now, it's me who is also doing the work, the owner of the company. So I feel like a lot of homeowners obviously know that the care and the quality that goes into that work is going to be A+.
Yeah.
No corners are going to get cut. Cause it's my business, right? It's my baby. Like I put a lot into this. I don't want to see it go to the wayside. So I really feel like, and then, obviously my personality, I feel like I'm a really laid back guy and I just really like to help people and solve problems and bring their visions to life. And so I think, all that together, I think that's what people like,
Nice.
at least for the bids I do win.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, like I tell almost everyone, like for me, it's more than transactional. It's a relationship. That's what I want to
Yes.
create.
Agreed.
Because every time, like, and maybe it won't happen a lot in your life. Let's hope it doesn't. But should you ever need an electrician, I want to be your number one go-to guy because
I like
I'm
that.
going to take care of you.
Yes.
So that's kind of, I think that's the why they go with.
That's why you're winning the jobs. That makes tons of sense, dude,
Yeah.
through establishing your values up front and building trust. Because that's who, there's some, you hear across a number of business sources out there that people buy from the people they like, know, and trust. And that last piece, I've realized since, drawing prints and my background and coming into project management this year that one thing I do very well is that I establish trust real quick. Just from being genuine. Like people can feel your soul. People can feel your heart and your intention early on. And I'm not saying there's not guys out there that can portray that early on and then not operate with integrity, but I'm saying that somebody like you who genuinely has that relationship in mind, I think that that's amazing. And I think that probably comes through to people on why you're winning jobs, dude. That's fantastic. What kind of back end stuff? Like, so as if you're a solo guy, have you started dabbling with AI for any of your estimates or business stuff? If you're the one doing the work, how do you, from winning a bid to getting the estimate done to, getting the paperwork signed and starting the job, or do you not do much paperwork on residential? Is it pretty straightforward? Do you not have a lot of back end work that you have to execute?
There is a process. Obviously, the first thing is getting your foot in the door, right? Because what you just stated with meeting somebody face to face, you are 100% more apt to make that connection with somebody
Agreed.
than just a voice over the phone. I'm just a guy on the phone. And
Yes.
typically if somebody wants to keep it at that level, then it's just about the price, right? And I don't want it to be just about the price. I want it to be about more than that. The quality of work, the process, like what that whole experience is even going to be like for them with me into their home,
Yes.
their biggest asset they own. Like most people, their house is their biggest asset they own, right? So I feel like it's important we are careful with whom we bring into it.
I would agree.
And so I just think that's the first step, is getting the foot in the door, meeting them, making sure we're a good fit. And then from there, I usually try to do the bids right on site. So obviously making sure when we're going out, hey, Mrs. Smith, is there going to be enough time to do it? We're usually an hour. I've had some take me 2 hours because I want to take my time. I don't want to rush it. I don't want to miss anything. I want to make sure I'm being thorough.
I like that.
And I feel like that's if I'm not doing that, honestly, I feel like that's a disservice to the client. So just making sure they have the time to, and then also like making sure that all decision makers are going to be present. I think that's important too, because it's really hard for somebody like for me to break down what I'm talking about to a homeowner. Like I got to be careful about the lingo I use, because I've literally had people tell me after trying to explain something like, I literally do not understand anything you just said.
That all went.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's like, oh man, I got to put this down. I got to dumb this down a little bit. Like, how do I rephrase this? Like, and I feel like photos help a lot too. So like, I'll take my tablet with me and I have like, slides made up in it so I can kind of show people things, which
Cool.
clears things up.
Cool.
So, just making sure all decision makers are present so they don't have to try to explain to their spouse what I just said and probably mess it all up anyway. And then you're there for questions. If they have any questions or concerns, I'm here. Let's answer away. So
cool.
That's kind of the process. And then usually I like to do it while on site. Again, if they have any questions or whatever. And then also I can see, the moment. I always wait to show the price last because I want them listening to me and what I'm saying. I don't want them focused on this number.
The number. Yeah. That makes tons of sense. I think it's important. Well, that's how you get them to understand. I talk to a lot of guys on here, and we do talk about this process quite a bit. Making sure that they are understanding the scope and clarifying the scope, because that's where miscommunications happen and that's where relationships get hurt, is when people don't understand scope. And if you're right, that if people have a number in their head and you can tell that right away, like when you said that somebody calls on the phone and they're just price shopping. I've recently had jobs where people were, hey, I just want to spend this much and this is what I want. And then afterwards they're like, this sucks. Well, this is what you asked for. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? You have to try to control that process as much as you can. So I think that that's probably a good approach in what you're talking about, and not getting that number out to the end. Do you use a software on site then? Is that pretty fast for you? Or are you taking notes? Are you a hand guy? Like through?
I said I do everything custom. I tried the whole software route and I did not like it. The terminology that they use, I just felt like it can be, I don't want to say misleading, but maybe adds a little fear to it, or it definitely keeps things vague.
There you go.
Keeps things very vague.
Yeah.
Like I get the approach. You don't want to let the the cookies out of the cookie jar.
Yeah.
If you're troubleshooting or something. So
yeah, absolutely.
But I came to this approach where I just do everything custom. So yeah, it takes me longer to like type up what the proposal will be or give options or whatever have you. And then like obviously to help aid in that, I do from time to time, I'll pivot to AI and I'll have it kind of clean it up.
There you go.
Like we live in a day and age right now where I feel like everybody just expects everything to be like available right away. And so I feel like just to kind of expedite the process, I do a lot of the voice to text stuff.
Same.
Oh my gosh. And so I will obviously have it go in, tell it what I want, proofread it, put it over into like an estimate, professional estimate, and then we'll do our presentation.
Got it. That makes sense.
That's kind of the process. And then if there's any questions, I can answer them for the husband or the wife or whoever's there.
Gotcha.
But that's kind of been my process and kind of what I've been doing for a while now. And I really like it a lot. And I think a lot of people do too.
Yeah, doing well, man. That's awesome. And I know me and you could probably keep going longer, but I do want to be respectful of your time. And I know you're a solo dadding over there. So let's wrap up real quick with one. I mean, I feel like you've already kind of done this, but we always like to finish up on this show with talking to the next generation and getting them into the trades. And I think you really touched on it. One, with your story, and two, with your hiring process and where kids are at that time and kind of the challenges around that. But if you could talk to kids that are coming up, and they're, scared of AI, scared of whatever, at that age where they just don't know, tell them why they should or should not get into the trades.
Well, I do feel like even back when I was in high school, just so I know, the wife is home, so we're not in a huge rush here. So
Got it. Okay. Fire away then. Take your time.
you got your side too. So, I would just say, like, back when I was in high school, and it definitely came to a lot of realizations and conclusions from reading a lot of books on business. But back when I was in high school, and I think it's like this still today, there's this like push, and maybe not so much today, maybe that's kind of gone away, but I know for me, like, back when I was in high school, like, there was this push to just like, college is the only way to success. College is the only way you'll succeed. You got to get a degree.
100%.
Like,
that was my generation too.
The stigma that's out there with the trades, that like all that needs to be thrown in the garbage, first of all.
Yes.
The sky is the limit with the trades, and I'll say with most trades too.
Yes.
And that even goes into like landscaping and
handyman, all of it, man.
I'm telling you, there's guys that are making more than doctors. I'll tell you that right now.
Easy.
And,
Easy.
And so, the only thing that limits you is the garbage you allow that people tell you that you allow in here. You got to throw that away. The sky's the limit. It's you against you, literally. Like, and so if you can get over the toxic mindset, surround yourself with positive people that are in business, people that are successful, people like that, they're only going to lift you up in life. I would say that for sure. And have big dreams. Don't let anybody limit you to, anything like that. The sky's the limit with the trades, and that's electrical, plumbing, HVAC, and now with the internet, I mean, there's just so much exposure now with that, with business owners just talking about their start, where they came from, where they ended up, and then it's insane. So I would say go for it. Go for the trades. Again, the sky's the limit. It really is. You can go anywhere with this. Dream big. Just persevere, have a strong mind, persevere, mind like a sponge, read books on business, network with guys that are in the field, like the internet, like all these groups out there. Like, if you do all that, like, you'll grow. You'll go somewhere.
Find good people is a huge piece. Find good people that dream big and have executed, and people that are on top of their stuff, you know what I mean? Rather than being distracted by things that seem, social and whatever, find good circles of people who have goals and ambition, I think is a huge thing you said. And that exact term it's interesting. I asked this question, and that sky is the limit. So many guys use that exact terminology because we talk about how you really can pick what level you want to operate at. And I think young people that, maybe they do want to have social life, maybe they do want to have a family, and you can work in the trades and work a job and make really nice money and take care of your family and have time for that social life that you want to have. And then if things change, you can shift, you can turn it on, you can go after business, you can go after money, you can go after bigger things when you want to. And if that's not working for you, you try it, you come back. The trades are very safe. There's a lot of ways you can move laterally. There's a lot of ways you can move forward. There's a lot of ways you can go backwards. So I think you reiterated a lot of that that capability, but especially the sky's the limit. Like if you want to dream big, the trades is an excellent vehicle to get where you want to go, I think.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere for a long time. I mean, I know AI is coming in. I mean, there's robotics, but I mean, it's still going to be a while before I think we see a robot like running wire.
Yeah. Even the best minds, Elon Musk, all the guys that are making the robots are like, we're going to still be, the guy last night was saying, this is the roof guy, Josh, Guy Armor, was like, man, I'm still going to be going on roofs for a long time. I don't care what anybody says, right? And that's been pretty clarified that the trades are safe. They're safe too. So you want some comfort, you want something, you know, that you got flexibility and it'll take good care of you and anybody else you want to take care of. The trades are an excellent route, kids.
100%. 100%. It's not just a route for, you know, a plan B or dropouts or failures or any of that's all BS.
That stigma you talked about, that's not real.
We got to get rid of that.
Yes.
We got to get rid of that. So
agreed, man. Well, Pete, this has been fantastic, dude. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story and
man,
talking about family and everything and talking about faith. That was awesome, dude. And if anybody wants to get a hold of Pete, TwinCitiesElectricLLC.com. What else do you want to shout out? You got socials out there you want people to go to, Pete? I can link to it when I do the clips and the content.
They want to become a fan, you can like our Facebook page. We have an Instagram. I would say those two pages for sure. And then just checking out the website.
Awesome. Pete from Twin Cities Electric, ladies and gentlemen, out of Shakopee. Pete, thanks again, man.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ryan.
All right.
Take care.